Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're here right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me today. Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill was last night, and my goodness, what an incredible show it was from start to finish. Absolutely loved it. I do want to say I recorded a review last night, but for some reason, I must have accidentally hit the mute button here on the microphone, and there was no sound. So, of course, I couldn't release it. I was going to go live, but my buddy BQ at the Impact Lounge was already live doing his review of the show. So I decided not to go live and to record something today. This is going to be kind of my thoughts and recap of the show. Not going to be a full review like BQ did last night. Quite honestly, I kind of woke up late and I got to get to work soon. So this is going to be just a recap of my thoughts on Hard to Kill last night. But it was an incredible show from start to finish. Impact Wrestling delivered again here, and this was just a spectacular show, and first and foremost, when the pre-show began and Tom Hannafin opened his mouth. As soon as he opened his mouth, you could tell immediately that he is an immediate upgrade from Matt Striker. Tom Hannafin was just fantastic, and D'Lo Brown seemed refreshed. Also, he seemed all right. This is new. I got somebody new with me, so they really worked well together. It's really refreshing to hear that. So I was Tom Hannafin, great addition. Glad that they chose him. He was just fantastic last night. Again, huge upgrade from Matt Striker. Really enjoyed his commentary with D'Lo Brown last night. It was just fantastic, and I hope it stays that way because I think it will. I think it will. But Tom Hannafin, great job last night. The big news, of course, last night, of course, was Ring of Honor invading Impact Wrestling. So it was during the 10-man hardcore match, which was won by Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Heath, and Rhino. Rhino hitting a gore on Carl Anderson, Heath getting the pin. So you think immediately that Heath and Rhino are the number one contenders. They'll probably get a run as the tag team champions. That's what I immediately thought right after they got the win, that they're going to claim to be the number one contenders. No, but the hardcore war was actually was really cool. But actually, let's just talk about my thoughts first on the Heath thing. Though, so though Heath and Rhino, I figured they get the win, and I kind of figured that they were either Heath or Rhino were going to pin Carl Anderson or Luke Gallows and claim to be the number one contenders. And I thinking they'll probably get a run as the tag team champions. But then Matt Taven and Mike Bennett run into the ring and start taking guys out. The Impact guys come back a little bit, but here comes Vincent. He takes some guys out. I think he clotheslined Rich Swann. Rhino starts landing some shots, but here comes PCO to take it. And they just took everybody out. And PCO, Vincent, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven took out all the Impact Wrestling guys. Then they got Maria Kanellis. They all got in the ring. And standing tall in the Impact Wrestling ring were Ring of Honor's PCO, Vincent, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, Maria Kanellis. So the invasion has begun, as D'Lo Brown said. This is a Ring of Honor invasion. Scott D'Amore looked all worried. They did a backstage segment. He came running down the steps. He had no idea what was going on. So that was really cool. So full-fledged Ring of Honor invasion of Impact Wrestling. So it looks like we're going to get Ring of Honor versus Impact Wrestling. Wonder if they're going to do a Ring of Honor versus Impact Wrestling show, which would be very interesting. Want to know if we're going to see wonder if we're going to see more Ring of Honor guys. But this was really cool. I wasn't expecting this at all. I think anybody was. I kind of thought maybe we'd see Mike Bennett, maybe Matt Taven, as well as Kanellis, but I didn't think we're going to see PCO or Vincent showing up. But this was really cool. This was really good stuff. It was a nice surprise. I was hoping we were going to see some surprises, and this was a really cool surprise. The Ring of Honor guys showing up to take out the Impact Wrestling guys. So it's that was really a great moment. Probably the highlight of the show, in my opinion. The Hardcore War actually was really cool. Eddie Edwards had a flaming kendo stick. Eric Young pile driving. I believe Eddie Edwards threw a table to the outside, which is cool. You had barbed wire board. Joe Doring putting Rich Swann through the barbed wire board. So the hardcore match was pretty intense. Lots of intense spots, and it was really good, entertaining match. I really enjoyed it. I also really enjoyed the debut of Speedball Mike Bailey. Speedball Mike Bailey making his debut on the pre-show. It was Speedball Mike Bailey against Ace Austin versus Chris Bay versus Laredo Kid, and I think these guys were perfect opponents for Speedball Mike Bailey in his debut. And Speedball Mike Bailey it just looked like a star, looked like an absolute star in this match. He won the match. You know, I predicted he was going to win. I didn't think he was going to lose in his debut, but it really elevates him. He could be another. He could be next in line for a shot at Trey Miguel. We'll talk about the Trey Miguel match in a moment. But Speedball Mike Bailey really delivered here. I knew how great Speedball Mike Bailey is. I've seen him multiple times up here in Canada on indie shows. And now the Impact Wrestling all the Impact Wrestling fans are going to see just how good Speedball Mike Bailey is. Great signing. Very excited to see what the future holds for Speedball Mike Bailey in Impact Wrestling. Talking about Trey Miguel, and he defended the X Division Championship, of course, against Steve Macklin. And I was expecting a war, and man, oh man, we got a war. This was just a fantastic match. Just a fantastic match. Lots of big spots here, lots of hard spots here, lots of tough spots here. One point, Trey Miguel is hanging upside down on the ropes. Steve Macklin just comes shoulder tackle right into him. I think they were supposed to go to the outside. But they didn't quite make it. It looked like Trey Miguel's feet got caught up in the top rope, so they didn't go to the outside. So that was a devastating spot there. But Trey Miguel hitting some big spots as well, and this was great back and forth action. I thought Macklin was going to win, but Trey Miguel was victorious, pinning Steve Macklin. Steve Macklin being pinned for the first time in Impact Wrestling, and the stipulation was if Macklin loses, he can no longer challenge Trey Miguel for the X Division champion as long as Trey Miguel is the champion. So Steve Macklin wants another X Division shot. He's going to have to wait for someone to defeat Trey Miguel before he gets another shot. But Steve Macklin is without a doubt definitely a future X Division champion. And I absolutely love the match. Absolutely love the match between the two. It was just fantastic. Then you had Jonathan Gresham versus Chris Sabin. Jonathan Gresham versus Chris Sabin for the Ring of Honor title, pure rules match. No closed fists. There was only you only allowed 3 ring breaks. So it was in a great technical match. Jonathan Gresham is like as smooth as silk. He's so freaking good, Jonathan Gresham. And Chris Sabin was a great opponent. This it started off technical, then it got a little heated as the match was progressed, but it was just a great stuff. Great match. A great back and forth technical wrestling match as well. Jonathan Gresham, of course, retained the title, defeating Chris Sabin. He's still the Ring of Honor champion. You got to think now, is Gresham going to join the Ring of Honor guys in the Invasion? Remains to be seen. But Gresham and Chris Sabin, of course, they shook hands, which you have to do is part of the rules of the pure rules match. They have to shake hands before and after the match. After the match is over, they shook hands and they hugged. They spoke for a little bit. But Jonathan Gresham is so good. It's just so good. And this was a great match. And Ian Riccaboni actually joined commentary. And Ian Riccaboni and Tom Hannafin, just phenomenal together. I got my fingers crossed that Scott D'Amore was listening to that, last night, and he does what he can to bring Ian Riccaboni in to work with Tom Phillips. He used to be known as Tom Phillips. He's Tom Hannafin now. To work with Tom Hannafin and let them be the play-by-play announcers, because they were just fantastic together. They were just, I know D'Lo Brown was kind of jumping in there but Hannafin and Riccaboni were just tremendous calling the shots in this match. So they were great. Hopefully we'll see more of Ian Riccaboni as well. Don't want to forget the Ultimate X match. The Ultimate X match was fantastic as well. Lots of big spots in that match. Chelsea Green versus Lady Frost versus Tasha Steelz versus Jordan Grace versus Alicia Edwards versus Rosemary. Historic Ultimate X match. First time women were involved in an Ultimate X match. And again, lots of big spots. Favorite spot, Lady Frost climbing up the steel structure. and doing a temperature drop to the outside onto her opponents was fantastic. I thought Tasha Steelz might have gotten hurt in that match. Chelsea Green on holding on to the ropes, the Ultimate X ropes. And I think she slipped off and landed right on Tasha Steelz, kind of hard. And it looked like Tasha Steelz got hurt. I think she was banged up after the match was over, but she appeared to be okay. But my pick won, Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz wins, and she's now the number one contender for the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship. We'll talk about that match in a second. But Tasha, they all these women just left everything in the ring. It was great stuff. It was a great match. They all delivered in this match. Absolutely loved it. But Tasha Steelz was victorious in this one. And then we had the one match that I was really waiting for. And man, oh man, I talked about Trey, Miguel, Steve Macklin being a war. Josh Alexander and Jonah was an absolute war as well. My God, they told a great story. Josh Alexander playing off the injured ribs. It looked like he at some point he was going to he wasn't going to pull it out, but great back and forth action. Jonah suplexing Josh off the top rope was huge. Just a huge. Jonah's just he's an incredible big man. Jonah is an incredible big man, and Josh Alexander had his hands full. I thought this match was going to end like in a double DQ or a no contest, but all said and done, Josh Alexander taps out Jonah. Which it was done really well. Jonah, it was because you have the big monster Jonah. You don't think he's going to tap out, and he played it off well. He sold the ankle lock well, and but Josh Alexander tapping out Jonah, so that was a bit of a surprise. That was a bit of a surprise, but Josh Alexander victorious. They had some hard slap exchanges in this match. My goodness, I felt them. They were just going back and forth. They were just letting loose. They weren't holding back. What a war! This was just a fantastic war. Anytime Josh Alexander is involved in a match, the match is fantastic. Josh Alexander actually recently named by Sports Illustrated as one of the top 10 wrestlers of the year. I think he was number 8 and well deserved. Josh Alexander. But I hope this is not the last Josh Alexander Jonah match. Kind of hope Jonah comes for revenge. I would love to see them mix it up again. It'd be great. But this was an absolute all-out fantastic war between two professional wrestling superstars. Okay, so we spoke about the hardcore war. Get my notes here. Then we had Moose versus Matt Cardona versus W. Morrissey for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. This was a very good match as well. Morrissey using a prosthetic leg. I'm not sure where he got it from. Probably a fan threw it into the ring or something. But he used a prosthetic leg during the course of that match. Moose, actually, it was a scary spot. Actually, I just want to say the camera work wasn't. There were some camera spots that they kind of messed up, and this one particular, Moose on the top turnbuckle facing the outside of the ring, and he's pushed off, I think, by Cardona to the outside and through a table, but they didn't catch it. The camera was not in position to catch it, so there were a couple of spots like that. The camera work was a little off during the course of the show, but you didn't actually see Moose go through the table live. They actually showed it on the replay, and I think he's supposed to go through the table, but he landed on the side. The table turned over and he hit the ground kind of hard, so that was a bit of a scary moment there. But Moose was okay as he got up and finished the match. There were points in this match where I thought Matt Cardona was going to pull it off. There were moments in this match that I thought Matt Cardona, oh my God, Matt Cardona hits his finisher, and I was like, oh my God, Matt Cardona's going to win. But especially when Moose pulled the referee out of the ring, I thought Cardona was going to win. Was that Cardona or Morrissey? One of the two. I think it was Cardona. It was one of the two. I thought was going to win, but Cardona, Moose pulls the referee out of the ring. But there were moments where I thought Cardona was going to pull it out. But as we know, Moose retains, hits the spear, and retains the title. It's a spear on Cardona, hits and retains the title, still champion. But there were two ref bumps. I think there's maybe overbooking that a little bit. I don't think there need to be two ref bumps. There were two. One ref went down, another ref came in, and he got bumped, and the first ref came in and counted to 3 for Moose. But overall, it was a terrific match. Love Moose. I was kind of hoping Josh Alexander was going to rush in and confront Moose and let them have a bit of a brawl. But I'm sure Josh Alexander is going to be looking for revenge on Moose now. So they're probably going to move now to Moose, Moose and the Josh Alexander program, and probably at Rebellion. We'll probably get Moose versus Josh Alexander, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. And then in the main event, we had Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickie James. It was a Texas death match. The rules were either submit or pin your opponent. Then they have the count to 10 to get up. Roxy, the Ring of Honor champion Roxy, will be challenging Deonna Purrazzo in a winner-take-all match next Thursday. I think they're filming it tonight, so it'll be next Thursday. Where Roxy was in the crowd, but this match actually started a little slow. There was one spot where they were both outside of the ring, and I think Deonna Purrazzo threw a chair in, then Mickie James threw a chair in, then Deonna Purrazzo found another chair, threw another chair in, and then Mickie James threw another chair in, and then they were just throwing chairs in one by one. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Okay, but let's get this match going. I would have preferred it was just a regular match. Not a Texas death match, but I understand you're in Texas. You know, you got to have a gimmick match. You know, Texas death match. But as the match progressed, the match got a lot better, in my opinion. Again, it started a little slow, but it really picked up. Deonna Purrazzo brought thumbtacks into the ring. Mickie James was she went into the thumbtacks. She had thumbtacks in her back. There were parts where I thought that Deonna Purrazzo was going to win. Now, if this match was actually, I think up until about, up until yesterday, or up until Friday, I should say, last Friday, I truly believe that Deonna Purrazzo was booked to win this match up until last Friday. But with the whole Mickie James entering the Royal Rumble, and it'll be really cool if Mickie James enters the Royal Rumble wearing the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship. I think they changed the finish, and they allowed Mickie James to be victorious. And Mickie James was victorious. She defeated Deonna Purrazzo. But I think up until last Friday, before the Royal Rumble announcement, I think it was booked that Deonna Purrazzo was going to take the title back. I was for sure. Or when I don't know if the Royal Rumble the whole deal happened before last Friday. It was just announced, but up until the deal was reached, I should say, I really believe Deonna Purrazzo was expected to win this match, or she was booked to win this match and go in to face Roxy next Thursday on Impact Wrestling with all the titles on the line. But now that with the Royal Rumble factor, Mickie James entering the Royal Rumble, walking down where the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship will be really cool for Impact Wrestling. Get a lot of buzz for Impact Wrestling, good publicity, good buzz for Impact Wrestling. So that's why Mickie James victorious in this match. She defeats Deonna Purrazzo, and again, started slow but really picked up, and it ended really. It ended really strong. So I really enjoyed this match. So Hard to Kill was just fantastic from start to finish. Absolutely loved it. There were a few things that I mentioned that maybe they could have done better, such as the camera work and the main event started slow. But and also in the pre-show, Jake Something defeated Madman Fulton as well. And I think I got all the matches. I want to make sure I just didn't miss anything. Nope, I got everything. Okay. So it's a great show. And I just want to point out on social media yesterday, on Facebook, it was one of the groups. I'm not gonna call the guy out publicly, but somebody put up a Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill discussion thread. Let's discuss Hard to Kill. And some goofball types in hard to kill, you mean hard to watch. And this was before the show started. And I'm thinking, dude, he got a lot of flack for that. He got a lot of pushback on that. But I'm like, man, if that guy sat down and watched Hard to Kill last night, he would be a diehard Impact Wrestling fan right now. He would probably delete that comment, and he would be all over social media today saying how great Impact Wrestling is, because this was just a fantastic show. Impact Wrestling delivered again. Impact Wrestling delivered. Fantastic show. It was January 8th, right? January 8th. And this is when, at the end of the year, when people are thinking of top pay-per-views of the year, this is going to be in their top 5 if they watched it. This will be in their top 5 pay-per-views. This is just fantastic. This was pay-per-view of the year material, was just fantastic from start to finish. I can't wait to see what Impact Wrestling gives us in 2022. It's going to be a huge, exciting year for Impact Wrestling. Lots of things with this Ring of Honor invasion now. Is Jonathan Gresham coming back to defend the Ring of Honor Championship again? Is he going to join the group? We're going to see more Ring of Honor stars. Who is going to stand up for Impact Wrestling? 2022 is going to be absolute fire for Impact Wrestling. Buckle up, guys. Buckle up, wrestling fans. Buckle up, Impact Wrestling fans. 2022 is going to be a wild ride for Impact Wrestling. Absolutely a wild ride. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I got to head to work, unfortunately, so I'll be back later tonight. Anything breaks, any more stuff, I'll jump on, of course. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.